If you tune into me, you watching Gully TV. Peace, everyone. I want to build with you guys briefly on a very sentimental and touching documentary I just watched about Sparky D. For the last week or so, people have been messaging me, sending me screenshots of this documentary that was coming on I think it was on BET Soul, whatever the case. It's made its way to YouTube, so I just got a chance to watch it, and I want to get on here and build with y'all about some of the effects of drugs and crack cocaine on the hip hop industry. Um, Sparky D, when I heard the name, it immediately registered with me who she was. This goes back to my childhood. I was in elementary school when Sparky D was around. To me, Sparky D immediately brought back memories of Roxanne Shante. Back in the day, there wasn't a lot of media outlets or coverage on hip hop. So whenever there was hip hop on TV or something like that, we all ran to the TV to, just get a glimpse of this new spectacular art form. But whatever the case, it's become my life. This is what I represent. I don't know what brings you to Gully TV or what attracts you guys to my platform. I cover a lot of different topics, but it's primarily hip hop, sports, and fashion. Hip hop is my life, and again, I've been around this art form since day one. Sparky D, I never knew what she looked like. The Roxanne battles, you didn't really know who these people were. We had a chance to see who Roxanne was, probably in a magazine, or maybe one of your older relatives might have got a chance to get their hands on an album or something. But for some reason, we knew what Roxanne looked like. Them other Roxannes, the real Roxanne, I believe she was probably light skinned, and Sparky D and all of these different chicks that she was going through it with, you didn't really know what they looked like. So today was the first time that I got a chance to visually see what Sparky D looked like. So yeah, Sparky D, I wasn't familiar with her body of work all like that. I just know that her name was popping back then during the Roxanne Shante era. She was like, you heard these girls' names. You would hear these songs on the radio. You would hear these songs, but you didn't know who they were or what they looked like. You were just happy to be experiencing a hip hop moment, no matter how brief it was. But I watched the documentary today, and the first thing that struck me is how long I've been a fan of hip hop and how long it's been in my life, because I'm looking at MC Light, who's always been gorgeous to me, and Salt from Salt and Pepper, and you can see that they're grandmothers now. They're aged. They have children and shit like that. They somebody's TT now. You know what I'm saying? And they were just beautiful icons to me as a child. But you're starting to see that hip hop is, in fact, this is the 50-year anniversary of it. But you're seeing the 50 years on the curators and the participants of this art form. I watched it, and the hip hop content contained within this documentary was very, very brief, because Sparky D was only around for a short time as far as the public's eye is concerned. Really, really early 80s, and then she was like gone. And one thing that I noticed about this documentary, before they even got to the topic of what happened to her, I could see where it was going, because I'm looking at the people that they're interviewing, telling her story, and they all had the same look. A lot of them was battered and bruised from the 1980s drug epidemic. One thing about me, I grew up playing basketball. I grew up a hustler as well, so I know what a drug addict looks like from 100 yards away. And the thing about drugs is the way that it affects a man and the way that it affects a woman is two different things. Like, in my opinion, a man who smoke crack and shit like that, once they detox and get to eating right again and shit like that, if their teeth didn't deteriorate, if their fronts and shit ain't missing and nothing like that, you probably can't tell if they ever used drugs. But women, the effects that crack cocaine and cocaine has on a woman's unmistakable. I could see a woman today who's been clean for decades, 20, 30 years, and I can look at her and say, that was a smoker. She used to get high. And you can just tell there's something about it that's unmistakable. So before they even got to the part of what happened to Sparky D, I'm looking at her and I'm looking at the effects of cocaine. I know where this is going. So as the story unfolds, they talked about her battles with Roxanne Shante and traveling, battling with her and everything like that. And I know where it's going. They start talking about the part where after the hip hop parties, a lot of people was backstage or in the corner sniffing cocaine and shit like that. The movie Scarface did terrible detriment to the black community in a variety of ways. A lot of guys, it made guys want to be drug kingpins. It also made people want to sniff fucking cocaine, just like Scarface in the movie. A lot of people succumbed to that imagery, that thought, that belief, and everything that was associated with it. I believe in the 1980s, cocaine was probably like romanticized and associated with successful people and shit like that. You had, Richard Pryor set himself on fire, and you could just look at these people and know that they were using drugs. But anyway, Sparky D spoke about how she started out kind of like sniffing cocaine with her boyfriend or baby father, who was also in hip hop back then, and you just know where it's going. So boom, she went from the sniffing lines and shit to now it's the pipe. And of course, you know what happens when the pipe gets involved. It just destroys everything. Her life came apart right away. And what I thought was beautiful about the documentary was how Roxanne Shante, shout out to Roxanne Shante, came to her aid. Roxanne Shante came to her aid. She sought her out. She went and found her, and she took her kids. And y'all come with me. And she said that she didn't see Sparky for a few days. She just was off gone doing her thing. But I thought it was a great display of sisterhood and black solidarity that Roxanne Shante loved her enough to go out and try to get with her and see about her. But anyway, the crack got in her life, and she said that she smoked crack for Sparky D smoked crack for 17 long years, and it just destroyed everything. The whole crack presence in hip hop is something that we try to hide, but a lot of people's story ended up just like Sparky D. It did. If you want to know what happened to those people that was dancing on the dance floor, when you see movies like B Street, when you see the New York City Breakers, or you see, the Rocksteady Crew, and you see the girls, the Soul Sonic Force on stage, and you see the girls that's in the audience, those was B-boys and B-girls and shit of the early 1980s. If you ever want to know what happened to a lot of them, it was crack. Crack destroyed a lot of them. A lot of people from that generation got destroyed by crack. To this day, I live behind a camera, so I'm often editing video, and I'm often looking at people and their faces because they're on my screen when I'm editing. And you can see, to this day, who had a bout with this demon, this narcotic demon. You see MC Shan online, you see what he looks like today. You can tell that he went through that. I was around Black Rob for a period of time. We were smoking blunts, everything was regular, normal, but I could look at Rob and tell that he had a history or he had a relationship with cocaine or crack cocaine. You could just see it in him. We've heard stories about Old Dirty Bastard and things that he was going through. And the list goes on. Again, I could look at somebody. Um, I could look at some of the elders and they didn't age right. You could just tell that they was going through it. Curtis Blow. The list goes on and on. But Sparky D was somebody who her documentary, it was primarily based on tragedy and, overcoming that demon, overcoming that narcotic, because it was her story and her participation in hip hop was a very, very brief period. And the rest of the documentary was all about the drug use and, everything that she went through. I'm watching this joint, I'm like, it's so sad and tragic. I'm like, man, why did they do this? Why did they even make this documentary? It was because they had to fill in some blanks in regards to, recounting the story of hip hop. Sparky D had a position, she had a place in hip hop music, and her story had to be told. There probably was people that always wanted to know what happened to her, and it was the drugs, and again, it just made me think, like, damn, man, like, that shit affected a lot of people. That demographic, that early 80s demographic, people that Sparky D's age, drugs and cocaine was regular shit. It was as regular as marijuana is today. That's what they did. They used fucking cocaine. They used fucking crack. It was like regular shit, to the point that Public Enemy had to make a song back in the day called "The Night of the Living Bassheads." And if you go listen to that song, Chuck was rapping about the effects of crack cocaine on Black America. Crack cocaine isn't really like a problem in America like it once was. It was like a fad. It was like a 30-year, 35-year period. There was a snowstorm of tragedy, heartbreak, murder, and shit like that. But it's something that has to be told and acknowledged in order for the next generation to understand the damage that you can suffer fucking with this shit. I represent hip hop like a motherfucker, man, and everything that I seen in that documentary, I just felt that it was my place to speak upon it, because I don't know what everybody else is doing today online. It's a big, big mess. It's almost like it ain't really about hip hop no more. Like, if you go online, the most popular blog or the most popular news is not about hip hop. It's about somebody going to jail, somebody dying, somebody snitching, or something that's degenerate. But I stand for this. And if you're watching this, Sparky D, I really, really wish you the best. Your story is a story of a survivor. I'm glad you made it through. I'm glad you made it through all of that, because no matter what y'all do, any of y'all always gonna be heroes to me. Sparky D, MC Shan, Curtis Blow, some of the people that I mentioned, y'all always are gonna be like superheroes to me. And my platform was built upon the back of this art form that you guys perfected, curated, toured the country, sharing the gift of hip-hop music. So that's all I have on that. For y'all who are not familiar with Sparky D, you can just type her name into the YouTube search bar and catch up on her story. But it was a pleasure, getting that knowledge of who she was, because to me she was just a name that I remember from my childhood. Everybody wasn't in magazines, all like that, and we didn't have media outlets that was profiling hip hop. If you've seen a rap star, If you've seen a rap artist on Showtime at the Apollo, or if you've seen a rap artist on MTV or some shit like that, it probably was LL Cool J or Run DMC. But everybody else, you had to dig a little bit further to see who they were. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Subscribe to my channel, The Real Gully TV, hip hop, sports, and fashion. Follow me on Instagram at IamGullyTV_. Peace.
Yo, you know the vibes. Uncle Ralph McDaniels, Video Music Box, Lord Nez in the building.
Yeah, Queens get the money, baby. Shout out to Gully TV, man.
Gully TV.
How you say get your dribble right?
Get your dribble right.
Get your dribble right?
Right?
Ah!
Yeah.